When we talk about customer service management or customer relationship management in the terms of a municipal government, we often talk about this concept of a 311 system. And that's this idea where a citizen has a central place to go to get information and make non emergency requests. It also talks about the back end where the fulfillment groups, such as the workers at the Port of San Diego, have a central place to go to perform the fulfillment of those services. So while a citizen can initiate a request via email or telephone, it's great to have something like a centralized portal where everyone can go to see what's going on and to make those requests. And that's what I have here on the screen. Now, the first thing I'd like to point out is that this portal uses what's called responsive design. And that means that we can change what's shown and change how it looks based on the size of the device that the user's looking at. So while I'm on a laptop right now and I have a nice big screen, if I were to look at this on a device that's say the size of an iPad, we could have it change and scale down just a little bit. And again, likewise, as we keep going and looking at the screen on something like the size of a cell phone, it changes yet again. And it's just a way to have a central single code base that changes and gives the user the optimal experience regardless of what device he or she is looking at the portal at. Likewise with the portal, everything here is customizable and you can change that. So this is branded for the Port of San Diego. And we find with our 311 solutions, a lot of times citizens just want to search front and center and see what's going on. But we can expose various different catalogs, just like an Amazon shopping experience we'll get to in a second. And in this case, we're showing the user's current permits or current permits or the requests, some news that's going on, and this can either be in the knowledge base in this system or in an external article, and then some other requests. And these are requests that are coming from other citizens. This might help with something like deflection, so a user sees that the issue he or she was about to report has already been listed. But again, you can change this and not expose it to the general public for security reasons or for whatever reason you might want. Likewise, at the bottom here, we have an interactive Esri ArcGIS style map, and this is just showing call-outs with some of the issues based on the location from other citizens that are coming in. So when we talk about some of the things we're going to do from the portal, I'm going to play the role of a citizen right now named Gilly Park. And I happen to be in the Port of San Diego, and I notice that there is a broken sprinkler. As a good citizen, I'd like to report this. So I'm already on the portal, and I'm just going to go to the Submit a Request button, or I'm presented with these graphical visual categories that walk me through the experience of what I want to do. So I know this isn't a garbage or recycling issue or a light post issue, it's a sprinkler issue. And I can click into that and realize that, yes, this is exactly what I need to do to start reporting this sprinkler issue to the port. Now, I can provide my location directly. I'm just going to click that button and it's going to grab the location from my device. This will work not just on laptops, but on phones and tablets as well. And this is actually exactly where I am right now at the Stave World Headquarters, 850 Prospect Street. I'm going to say I noticed a leaking sprinkler on port property. Now I know that we're not actually on port property right now, but bear with me. And I'm actually also going to add an attachment. And this is just an attachment of a broken sprinkler, and then submit that. And now I'm presented with the notice at the top, and my request has been entered in. You'll notice at the top of my screen, the My Requests now shows up. And if I click that, I can see that Gilly here has one request that has been initiated, and I can click into that and see the status. So this is just giving me a great timeline view of what's going on. It shows the picture that I uploaded, and it's just giving me some key information. Likewise, if I were to look at this on my phone, I'd get this similar experience here. Things have just shrunk down and moved into different areas, so I can check the status of this on the go. Now, we'll see in a minute about how I could also receive an email notification, how Gilly could receive an email notification or other back and forth communication like that. Before I leave Gilly's experience here, I want to go back to a different citizen request. So this was that litter on Harbor Island that someone other than Gilly, in this case Sam Collins, had initiated. But Gilly's very interested in this as well because she's got an event coming up on Harbor Island and wants to know what's the status of this citizen's request. So she can simply click the follow button, and it's going to add this request to her queue as well. It doesn't take ownership away from Sam, it just lets the system know that there's multiple citizens interested in this issue, and we'd like to track them and keep both parties, in this case, updated on what's going on. So let's switch gears and look at the fulfiller side. So I'm going to now look at the same system in a web browser as myself, Christopher Morgan. And I'm going to go over to the citizen requests that have come in. So this is my queue, if you will, of citizen requests that are coming in. I can monitor them through the port. You'll notice Gilly's request is at the top because it's most recent, and you'll also notice issues of varying categories and from various citizens in here. But this gives me a great centralized location to do the fulfillment and do the work. So you'll notice right now there's no assignment here, and depending on the process you have, we can do things like grab ownership. So I'm just going to assign it to myself right now just for record keeping. We don't have to do that. And I'm going to drill into the request here. So I can see all the data that Gilly has previously entered. I can see her screenshot. And I can see a similar view of the timeline. And then what we've also built in here are automatic tasks. So if I'm a maintenance or facilities person or how I'm going to solve this, we can list out different steps that I should be taking in order to fix this issue. So this task that we've pre-established for sprinkler issues is to turn off water to all sprinklers. And as I do that, as a worker, I can also go through and build my time card along the way, because maybe we want to track how much time is spent on resolving these issues. Let's not go that deep so far. Let's just make a note to the customer. Thanks for the note. We've turned off the water. And I'm just going to save that and continue working. Maybe I reassign this to the facilities group at this time. Maybe I go out myself and turn off the water and grab a wrench and try to fix it. The process is different, and the process is going to be different depending on the type of issue that comes in. Maybe we don't even want to use the system here for the work orders or the tasking or the assignment, and we want this request to go directly into SAP and then get the updates from that platform. That integration can work here as well. But let's switch gears back to Gilly for a second. And back in Gilly's world, back in her portal, this could be a day later, an hour later, we're going to go to her requests. We're going to see the citizen request for the sprinklers. And we're going to see that Christopher did make the note to her, and it's recorded on the timeline. So it's a great way to keep people in the loop and to make everything transparent on the way that these requests are being fulfilled by the Port of San Diego. Now, just for comparison's sake, let's talk about a user initiating a different type of request, because it's not always about sprinkler requests. We might want to scale this to something like a broken parking meter. Now, if someone's trying to pay for parking and their card gets jammed, they're going to have their cell phone with them, but they might not necessarily know about the 311 portal where they can initiate a parking meter request. But what we could do is put a QR code on the meters, just like the meters today have a phone number, and allow the user to scan a QR code on a parking meter that they might be having an issue with, and on his or her device then, it could bring up the portal and automatically go to the parking meter issue page. And what's great, because the QR codes are unique, automatically tag the asset number of that specific parking meter. So we'll know exactly which parking meter is being problematic for that user. The experience will be the same from there. So pick the location, give a description. The meter is broken. I'm logged in as Christopher Morgan here, and just submit. And now that citizen request has been created via the mobile device by scanning a QR code on a physical asset. We can also allow our citizens to initiate requests from Twitter. So I'm going to go into my Twitter account on my phone here, and this is Gilly's Twitter account, which is coincidentally the Kilderkin account that they've given me access to. And just by sending a tweet, I'm going to say the parking meter on Harbor ate my card. I'm going to give the hashtag PSD parking. That's a custom hashtag that we've created. You can have as many or as few hashtags that are being monitored. And I'm just going to make sure that I'm exposing my real location here. And I'm just going to send that tweet from my registered Twitter account. And then go back into my instance here. Now we have some code to automatically check Twitter on a schedule. I'm just going to run it on demand and go back into my citizen requests. And sure enough, at the top, we'll see a new citizen request for the parking meter issue already tied to Gilly Parker, including the information that we grabbed live from Twitter. So let's talk about a public records search. So while I'm logged in as Gilly right now, we could offer, and we don't have to be, we can offer an anonymous experience. So perhaps right from the search, I want to search for all public records relating to Chula Vista. I can go in and see the knowledge articles and then click into that. Again, this is a knowledge article that exists in the platform that we've imported in. And as this is, and I can see that I can even comment on that and offer feedback on the particular document. If it's something more discrete, we can have a public records option built out in the catalog. So just like we reported the sprinkler issue, we can offer the information about a public records request, the date it's required, description. Any of these fields are customized when you can add or subtract them as necessary, and then opt for arrangement either to get it digitally or to pick it up in person somewhere at the port, and also provide any fees that might be associated with that. And going back to our queue here, we're able to see the public records requests alongside additional requests as well. Let's talk a little bit how we grow and scale this and how we add additional workflows and additional request items and how easy it is. So I'm in as myself again, and I'm an administrator. And what I'm going to do is just quickly search into an area of the platform called Record Producers, and these map to the catalog items that we have on the portal side. So you can see I have some permits here, including one for a dog permit. And I can see how that dog permit is defined right here. So perhaps as we grow and scale as an organization, we realize that there's now a need for an additional type of permit, and maybe it's a cat permit. The simplest thing to do here is I'm just going to call that a cat permit, change the title here, and I can change the short description. Simply right-click and do an insert and stay. When I go back to my portal now and just hit refresh, you can see that I have that new cat permit pre-built out. It's literally that easy to get going. Now, let's take it a step further. So when we have different permit requests, we might have different workflows that are fired. Workflows in the platform here are all visual. This is how I would edit a workflow through this graphical interface here, and it's completely drag and drop. This is the workflow that we looked at earlier for the sprinkler issue. And you'll notice that that task we already built in to turn off the water is there, additional tasks, and it works like that. Now, all the different activities I might want to change with this workflow on the right. So if I wanted to add an approval for a user or group, I would just have to drag that in, drop it, let it go, and then I can select any kind of conditions that would cause the approval to fire, either with filters, various groups. Maybe we want to boycott, or I'm sorry, not boycott, maybe we want to bypass VIPs so that they don't require approval. we want to run it on a schedule, on a time zone, on a work schedule. So maybe it goes 8 to 5 Monday through Friday and then pauses and keeps going, and include that in. And this is also where I might want to add additional notifications. So perhaps we want emails to go out to the user or to the maintenance people after any of the tasks are created. And this can be an email or a text message that we pre-template, even with variables or graphics or fancy things like that, that can automatically go out. And you can really do some amazing things with these workflows. There's timers, utilities, you can do attachments, different types of logic. There's no limit to the complexity of the workflows that you can build out to fulfill these requests. But the beauty is it's so simple to just be able to drag and drop these squares and to configure it and to change the way the arrows are going, that it's does not take an administrator, does not take a programmer. It takes a regular user to be able to do that, and then simply publish to get that new workflow live and ready to go working in the platform. And that's going to be really important as we start building out additional services to offer through the 311 portal here, such as applying for a permit to use a public space. So that's exactly why we want something like an approval. So when we want to rent the park out, say from Monday to Wednesday, and we'd like to rent out as a citizen, how about Embarcadero, Marina North. Put that description in. Maybe I need to add an attachment like my insurance waiver for a bounce house or something along those lines and submit that and put that in. We're probably going to want an approval that takes place on the workflow behind this. We're not just going to automatically assign that park to everyone. We want to have a review to make sure that insurance certificate is provided. From our queue here, and then go in. I think that's we can see the same thing, and have as many tasks as we need. I'd like to go back to the main queue for a minute and really just show you some of the nice features that are automatically built in. We talked about the assignment earlier and I just double-clicked and added my name, but what I think is great is the multi-select. So I can select multiple things here, and in this case, let's assign them all to Martin. So now he has to do the work involved in that. And I can assign it both to an individual or to an assignment group. So I can pick a group, and maybe it's under consumer services, and then I can see the members of that group and assign it to one of those individuals. But I can actually then take it a step farther and automatically do the assignment here by setting up what's called assignment rules in the platform. An assignment rule is going to look at any criteria and then automatically do the assignment either to the group or the individual. So for example, maybe we want every park request to go to a particular group at the port or to a particular person at the port. Maybe we want all safety issues to automatically go to the police, and they'd be able to see that in a more refined queue. And again, with their custom workflow for that, they might get a text message or email notification earlier in the process than we would for something like the litter overflowing at the garbage can. So these assignment rules are so easy to create. You just pick the table, you pick the filter, and it automatically works in the platform. You don't need to worry about it after that. You can see them all, see what's running. It's an awesome feature that is just available to help you save time and to help enable the fulfillment piece of the platform. Going back to my same queue, nothing different there. Maybe I'm working and the boss comes in one day and wants to know, hey, what kind of categories are we spending our time working on? If you want to present that in a report view, you literally just right click and go to pie chart. And it's going to take the different categories and automatically break it out into a pie chart that's showing me where we're spending our time and where we're working. And if a different boss walks by, because we know this never happens, and says, I actually wanted it in a bar chart, you just go to the drop down here and we'll pick bar, in that case, rerun, and it presents the data in a completely different way. And of course, there might be a request to have this sent in an email or downloaded as a PDF or a PDF or PNG or various other reports. and that is also available as well and very easy to do within the platform. Finally, wanted to briefly touch on the map integration. So we can see how an Esri map here can be integrated into the portal. And that's a portal on any device, and how we can view the different requests and then drill into them to see what's going on there. But there's a lot more you can do. So you can define both Google and Esri maps and overlay not just requests but any type of data. So maybe you want to maybe you want to overlay um, requests where the people are, different facilities, different locations, where the buildings are. Maybe it's a map that's only exposing police reports. You can do that and configure any sort of map integration that you'd like. And it's, again, extremely easy to do that just by picking the data, defining whether you'd like a heat map, drill and level, defining which type of map you'd like, and then exposing that either to the fulfillment people, if it's more proprietary information, or to the citizens through the 311 portal. I hope this makes sense to everyone and you got some value out of the presentation. Obviously, with a short amount of time, we're not able to really just scratch the surface of what's available here. Features we didn't get to show are things like integrated threaded messaging through the live feed, where you can have chats back and forth either internally or internally with people at the port and the citizenry. You can have integrated chat conversations. Again, that can be integrated chat with citizens through the portal, or it can be you talking to your own groups and fulfillment. The integration components are very vast within the platform. So we talked briefly about integrating with a platform like SAP, but if there's another third-party tool that the port is using and then has an integration point such as web services, ODBC, JDBC database connections, bidirectional email, even the ability to grab a flat file like CSV, you can exchange the data between the solution here and that platform. It really helps you grow along with you with having a centralized system of record, as we call it, when it's time to move into things like portfolio management or project management, coming up with real strategy. But this is the Stave operations path for 311, and looking forward to working with the Port of San Diego and answering any questions you might have.